Oh my god, chat. I completely forgot. I still didn't record the monthly challenges guide, the full one of this March. Man, we got hit with a mountain of content last week. Zoe adventure, and then I got sick for an entire week. I was like irrelevant for at least 4 days. And now, well, I guess people still do have like 10 days to complete, so let's actually record the full guide. I have everything set up since last week, I think. So yeah. Hello and welcome everyone. Krillback is here and we are discussing monthly challenges March 2026. So if you're new here, you can find me on European chart. I've been like top 8 for the last, I think, 2 years. I played 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. So if you're looking for a 5 stars, 6 stars, slow decision making, just one shot kind of stuff, I bet there are other content creators that are doing that. I'm playing low upgrades, I play free-to-play relics, and I do kind of educational content, and I help others to do progress at their beginning of path. And yeah, a little bit sick, cannot really concentrate. So why do I do 2 guides if you're new here? I do TLDR guide at the beginning of month. It's usually oriented towards like advanced kind of players that have completed a couple of events, completed Draven Adventure, Victor Adventure, Spirit Boss and Team Adventure, maybe something else. They usually do have fragments, but they do not have levels. So those kind of videos aim to make clear who is best this month. Whom would I use 3 out of 3? Just which are the champions that are really relevant for this month, and every month it's usually the same. Right now we're doing the full guide. It will take about, I hope, less than 2 hours. I will not be able to handle more than that anyway, since I'm still sick. And we will be discussing, actually I can show you, we will be discussing special rules. Yeah, these are just hardest challenges of the month that we usually discuss in TLDR guide. We will be discussing these kind of clusters. Necessarily clusters, but that's how I divided them, well, just for myself in the first place. We will discuss enemy decks. I have everything already written down. And we will go through all challenges from 1 to 70. And I'll give you like ideas why I would choose this champion, why I would recommend this champion for this certain challenge. So I play 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars. And when I say that champion N can complete challenge number N2, champion X can complete challenge number N, let's put it this way, I usually think about 3 stars. If I say with an idea of 2 stars, I will like say it out loud, in a way that this champion at 2 stars might be alright here. There are some cases like Mortal Marks with, I don't know, Caitlyn, for example. Yeah. Also, I've been working for my kinda wiki for these challenges to make everything like available to public, but it's a bit slow. You can find my speedrun in a whole channel. I will give a link in the description, and every recommendation will be in comment section. So all 70 challenges, there will be a line. So I completed this challenge with this champion. It will also contain what we're playing against, and then all the recommendations after that. So, first things first, I guess. Let me find what I got for this month. Monthlies guide 2026. So what do we have? Irelia twice, Zed 5 times, Katarina 4 times. I think we usually discuss this in TLDR guide, I will just repeat it quickly. So these are 3 enemies that you wanna deal with their champions as soon as possible, ideally like instantly, or you wanna have a counterplay against them. Katarina is usually countered by Veigar, 3 stars. You can just use Darkness at burst speed for 0 mana into Katarina's attack, and she will just die. So that's the easiest way. That is usually like 3 mana for a 3 creature, sometimes 5 for a creature. Irelia is usually 3 mana 5-4 creature. And against this decks, you want something like Noxians, like Annie with Death Hand, Darius with Constellation plus 2 damage on Death Hand, and Samira's Death Hand. I can actually show it, just in case. Right, we go here, Annie, starting deck, Death Hand, 3 mana, plus 2 damage over here, so it will be 4 damage. And plus 2 damage over here, well, if you really need that. Usually you do not need that. Then we can have Samira, starting deck, Death Hand, 4 damage. So it kills Zed, it kills Irelia, you just need like play your champion and a Lost Chapter for 3 mana. And Darius. He has 2 mana Death Hand, and in Constellation you can have this upgrade for 2 damage. It will be enough. I do not have that. I barely if ever use Darius anyway, but he's alright. Like playing just adventures is alright with him. Against Irelia you can also use something like Kain and pretty much any Berserker's Buckle. She has first attack herself, she has Twin Discipline, 4+3+0, +0+3. She's a hard fight. Her strongest spell is Recall Enemy, which swings tempo extremely. Like she's recalling your creature, and she's also attacking. So that's like 2 tempo in her favor. Zed. Against Zed, you wanna stun him, frostbite him, so his copy will be either not appearing, because he cannot attack, or his copy will have 0 attack. His deck has some elusive units, Blade Dances, and his win condition is attacking with that and using Dusk and Dawn onto him prior to that, which is a slow spell, and once again, if you have stun, if you have frostbite, that works like a charm. You can use Morgana, you can use any frostbite, Volibear, anything else. Volibear is pretty good in Irelia too, since if your unit fights against Blade, you will have 2 sigils at 3 stars. Katarina, well, just any spell basically. You can also be creative, and if you have free-to-play Epic Relic Big Guns, which gives you +1 damage, you can have some fun using it on, let's say, Warwick, 2 stars, maybe something else. Then Draven. We got Draven 9 times this month. Usually I recommend Caitlyn or Morgana into Draven. So Caitlyn is summoned at round end, then he draws a card at round start, and Caitlyn traps activate, and boom, Draven is gone. Great. Morgana is just a kind of funny playstyle, interesting playstyle. He is trying to get you down, you're stunning him, you're healing, that's how it works. We also have 6 Ezreals this month, right? Yeah, usually he is one of the most hated champions to play against. Back in my days of 3 stars, I used to play Yasuo most of the time. You can try to use like Black Shield, free-to-play epic relic of giving spell shield to every unit that you summon, which is pretty good in the Aurelia and that as well. You can also try to play Bluetooth fights. I will give you an idea of that of what that is later when we will be discussing special rules. Snorlax? Good cat. And if you're over-prepared, you can try to use Creator's Gatebreakers on Viega, on Vi, on actually many champions. By the way, against Ezreal we are playing against his Celestial Stun 2 and against Swabbot. So you wanna go wide, you wanna go high, like 5 units, 5-5 stats, kind of, maybe a bit more than 5-5, but just having one unit can be a bad idea since he has Swabbot. Azir 5 times. Azir is weaker than in campaign. Kai'Sa 1 time, then it can be skipped. Lulu Adoribus, okay. So against Lulu I usually give this list. Adoribus and Lulu updated. Yeah. Oath of the Guardians. So Adoribus is a special rule that transforms your strongest follower into Squirrel and silence it. So if you're playing champions, Oath of the Guardians is great. Echoing Spirit, great idea. Solid. Atrox at 4 stars, Vayne at 4 stars, they are just great upgrade. At that level of investment, they are pretty much one of the best champions. Snorlax. Yeah, we got emotional support champion over here. So at 4 stars you're giving equipment to Squirrel, and Squirrel will benefit from like Golden Spatulus 3-2 and then +2/+2 from 4 stars, armed to the teeth. Spirit Blossom Ari, you are playing Ephemerals. Really, truly nothing can be transformed into Squirrel. Fiddlesticks plays his own game. Disciple of Shadow Succubus Brand, that's a special Thresh build. You need this kind of setup. An idea to play Thresh round 1, round 2. Round 1 he's pretty much playable, and then you level up, you attack, and you have another champion, so you're playing champions at round 1 if you're attacking. Then Bluetooth. You can play Dreadway Chase Gun. I'm currently working on my kinda wiki, as I have said. I can probably give you an idea. Yeah, this one. So I'm working on this, and I will have everything explained. Bluetooth. Mail, Dreadway Chase Gun, Guardian Angel, Chemtech Duplicator, Chameleon's Necklace. Just pink enemy Nexus until it explodes. Any. This kind of thing, yeah, same. Nika, Echoing Spirit, Dreadway Chase Gun, Luden's Tempest, Jinvax. Yeah, this way. That's the logic. Zero Crush or level up Relic. Try to ignore the rule. You're trying to rush enemy down. Crown-Guarded Inheritance is one of the best relics to support that. Combo kill, one turn kill. You're playing again around your win condition. And one-man champion, just like in only the strong special rule. You're playing one champion and that's about it. Alright, next, Jinx 5 times, Misfortune Fees 1+1. These are usually easier enemies. They are being countered by just weak AoE, which can be Wicked Harvest, Rare Relic. You can use also Berserker's Buckle, Rare Relic, one of the best ones. I have a lot of videos on that, like Giga Ari, Giga Tima, maybe even Giga Nora, I don't remember. You can try to use Thresh on Nasus, so I've been using Nasus twice this month, I think. 70 out of 70 this month took me about 4 hours, 10 minutes. My goal is to complete it in under 4 hours. I tried 3 times. Well, this is March and I tried 3 times. What a coincidence. And yeah, both times playing Nasus I actually used Wicked Harvest. So you can look up that on the bot channel in a video. Gangplank twice, Kamikench 3 times, Nautilus twice, Victor 4 times. Against Victor you probably want something kind of more than average, above average, since Victor can high roll Lifesteal, Challenger, First Strike, Overwhelm, Stealth, Spell Shield, Deathless. Caitlyn, we face Caitlyn 7 times, which means that this month is a bit interesting. She usually high rolls some powers. I don't know, just biased a bit about that, but it's usually like fine, free. So against Caitlyn, you wanna use toughness, regeneration on your units, you wanna look up for those upgrades on Super Champion nodes and just item upgrade. And you can also use Berserker's Buckle. Snorlax is a bit out of screen. Right, she's being a bit shy. Yasuo once, Karma 5 times, Lee Sin 6 times, Fiora 5 times, and Thresh 5 times. So against Lee Sin, I usually do not comment on Lee Sin, Fiora, and Thresh, since they are kind of easy. But I guess I'll give you a couple of comments, just general knowledge. Against Lee Sin, when he attacks, you might not wanna attack block at all. If he didn't use his 2 spells, and he like confirmed his attack, you can just accept and he will use his spells after the fight. If you are blocking, then you're giving him an opportunity to play stuff in response and he will use those spells. With Fiora, she's a 4 mana 6/6, right? She has Cataclysm, 3 mana spell, and Riposte. So that's what we're playing around. You can stun Fiora, you can frostbite Fiora, you can just use kill spells onto Fiora, and this entire Fiora's win condition. Thresh. We face him 5 times, and he is usually pretty easy. Explosive Finale is very interesting into Thresh. Usually you just don't want to play like a weak champion that goes late. Because at 8 mana, 9 mana, 10 mana, Thresh has some heavy stuff, and he will use it. Like, he has Ledras, he has some other killing stuff, and it can be oppressive. Alright, that was champion decks. Now we can discuss combat awareness and other special rules. I do have combat awareness in my wiki, but I have just so little that let's use our old stuff just for now. Against combat awareness, everyone has Scout. You can easily go with just kill enemy first kind of playstyle. Gwen, Jax, Diana, Eloy, Elise are best of this playstyle. Snorlax. What's going on? You're taking so much space, more and more every minute. And all other champions that like are on the list are pretty good. Kai'Sa has a lot of stats, raw stats. Nico is basically Zoo kind of deck. Akshan, you need to know how to play Akshan, you need to understand how it goes. And if you didn't really play Action, then just drop this idea. It's a bit wild to play Action without being prepared. Like he's a weird bicycle vehicle, and you can just easily lose because you just lose some tempo. Lost tempo. Ambessa, synergy with monsters, synergy with 3 stars. LeBlanc, synergy everywhere, and she's just pretty much S-tier champion, even at 3 stars. Conditional, but can work. Should be self-explained. You're having buffs, and you will utilize it. And the 4th line is like, these champions are good, and they're good into a lot of stuff. So they're in the list, since they do provide some synergy, but I would recommend to use champions from the 1st line, since this is one of their best, or maybe the onlyest special rules to use. Empire above all. Well, this one is probably not saved yet, but I'll try to look. I do have. Everyone is getting +2/+0. Mel, you're using Rebuttal, you're using Grand General's Counterplane, you're using Eking Spirit, she's just one of the best champions into this special rule. Yumi, you do have 2 Poros already on the board, so you can trade this way. If you have 4 stars, then you will just outvalue your enemy. Or King, he has a lot of extra units, and trading, sacrificing units is not big of a deal. Ellie is pretty much the same, you have stuff to sacrifice, and you can use also Garde Star Fragment anytime you want. Darius, that's just a 2-star synergy, but, well, you're getting Overwhelm, you have your Ballista Challenger First Strike Overwhelm unit, which just will scale and kill enemy in like 2 or 3 attacks at worst. Ambessa. Yep, you're killing enemy. Then, interesting line, Kindred. On Kindred you can have like 3 units round 1. So you're playing 3 Praise and 2 whatever units, and they're all scaling. So basically it works. I did it in weekly adventures, and I did practice that. Since Empire above all just doesn't really have many counters, natural counters, and like Mel is kinda a new champion. 4 stars is not something that I think about when I do the guide. Yeah, at 3 stars, Kindred was okay into this special rule. Crash, Misfortune, you're kinda going wide and you're controlling the board with Make It Rain. Thresh, you have extra units just like Kindred, and you might use Disciple of Shadows and Succubus Brand, so Husks will scale. Evelyn Husks will scale. Yasuo, you want to have Yasuo on board, so that's just how he works, right? Yeah, this cat takes all the space on the table. Vega, you can use Garde Star Fragment, and man, it's 10 in the evening. Who is drilling? Like, yeah, even cat is just third line. Lee Sin, he's kind of alright if you're playing against around his 3rd star, like you're summoning a unit and you're just caring about that unit, and it will scale. You need to use Twin Discipline for 0-3, and it should be fine. Emerdinger usually goes wide. Mastery just kinda like Lee Sin. Usually where one is good, another one is good, pretty much too. They do share some stuff. They do have stuff in common. Luxia. Barrier will help that. Spirit Blossom Kindred, well, that's definitely not the best special rule for Spirit Blossom Kindred, but, well, she is immortal, so it works. Warwick, he can go wide. It's not really the best synergy, but it works. And why? You have a lot of health at 3 stars, and like, you do not need to get formidable Strength of Stone relic if you have Empire above all. Just once again, you're caring about your strongest unit, and that's about it. Chorus of Power. Nothing really much to say about Chorus of Power. Usually enemy has strongest round 2, so enemy is summoning one unit, another unit. If nothing was traded, then enemy will have a lot of extra mana round 2. And fun fact, Javen's round 2 is also his strongest round, so if we're facing Chorus of Power and Draven, then this is his just kind of best synergy. Gathering Storm. That's once again not really much that we can say about Gathering Storm. Enemy is attacking and stunning our weakest unit. So if enemy has a strong deck, it is scary. If enemy has Blade Dances, this is extremely scary. If enemy is playing something weak, this is not scary at all. We can find some synergies with Spear Blossom Teemo, just normal Teemo, but he's one of the weakest champions right now in PathOfChampions. And also Caitlyn is interesting choice into Gathering Storm, but well, we are facing 9 Dravens, so we know that Caitlyn goes that way probably. We will discuss every challenge later anyway. Let's rock. This is a Rockful Path one, right? You kinda wanna go white. So you can play another way. You can just do nothing round 1. You can let the Rockful Path trigger and just obliterate nothing, and only after that you're summoning units. And this is the list of champions that kinda can go white, right? Poro King, your Poro will be obliterated, so it will not count towards your special rule. You need to sacrifice, the unit needs to be killed, not obliterated. Heimerdinger goes white easily, Kindred can just go white. Gwen Misfortune, Ephemeral Ally, Elise, she has a lot of spiders, especially if you're playing Gale Forest. Yumi has 2 Poros round 1. Nora, she has a lot of units, she goes white, she goes tall, kind of, especially if you're playing Corrupted Star Fragment. Any, you're playing any, you have Dreadway Chase Gun, you let any be obliterated and you summon another any. Ambessa, she copies units, and Pike, well, kind of goes white. He tries to go white at least. I'm not a fan of Pike, I almost never recommend Pike, but there are just basically no special rules where I would recommend Pike, so this might be the one. Adoribus we have already discussed. Let's discuss this. Afterimage and Sovereign's Domination. Afterimage updated. So I do have some videos about completing stuff with Afterimage. It can be nightmare, can be just normal weekly. I do those kind of videos very often. I mean, that's a weekly routine for me to discuss challenges, right? To discuss weekly stuff. And let's discuss what I recommend, right? Best in slot would be Kai'Sa, because enemy need to trigger evolve on their own. Also you have 2nd star and 5th star mana flow 1 that will not be transferred to your enemy. So your allies are like +4, +4, +5, +5, or +6, or even better than enemies will get. If you're giving enemy your Voidling, enemy will have Philosopher's Stone, but that's about it. Aatrox, Vayne, 4-star equipment, so none of that will be transferred to your enemy. Caitlyn and Lilia are in the list because they are just one of the best Echoing Spirit users. They are great at 3 stars, they are kind of alright at 4 stars. You really do not need much, and they are great at defense. They can solve a lot of issues and pretty much deal with a lot of nightmares. They're my go-tos. Oftentimes, they do not really need any high rolls. You just need sorcery and you're golden. You can complete almost anything. LeBlanc, well, that's a S tier champion and you're juggling your champion. Ekha, pretty much the same. At 3 stars, you're giving your allies +2/+2 and random keyword. This will not be transferred to your enemy and you can play Echoing Spirit and enemy will just not get that. Also the Guardians you're playing champions. Makes sense 1, makes sense 2. So they're the same color, but one is better than the other. Ambessa, well, 3 stars. Kain, pseudo-permanent buffs. Illaoi, Tentacle will be transferred as a 1/1 creature. Anivia, pseudo-permanent buffs, I mean buffs. Buff will be there until creature dies. And you can stack a lot of those buffs at 2 stars, right? Any. Against Afterimage, enemy will have extra unit every round. So we need to also understand that enemy is attacking with extra unit and defending with extra unit. Annie has stun for 1 mana and she wins via spells. Spell damage, skill damage. Against easier Afterimage, she is alright. Against the hardest stuff, questionable, but there are just kind of no downsides. In a way that Radiant Party is pseudo-permanent until creature dies. Annie's extra damage on skills and spells will not be transferred to your enemy, and that's how you usually kill your enemy. I won't say that Annie at 3 stars at level 20 will complete Afterimage at 60+ challenge, but she's alright, and you can use her in not the deadliest of challenges. Once again, I forgot about the general recommendations of having champions at level 20 at least, so we can draw a champion at game start. Another big power spike would be level 25, so you can have Chameleon's Necklace or Spell Shield on your champion. And of course, some champions do benefit a lot from having 3 rare relics, but I do not have that video out. I wanted to make that video like before the last patch happened, but just real life happened. Okay. Elder Dragon. You're playing huge units that will be transferred to enemy via Afterimage, so it's both a good and bad idea. Usually you're trading 1 for 2 easily. Just make sure that you're not giving your enemy stuff that has good on summon effects, okay? And also, Elder Dragon can finish the game easily. He just doesn't care, he cannot be stopped. And Lee Sin, one of the rare cases where we see Lee Sin and we do not see Master Yi. Maybe the only case. So yeah, you're playing 1 unit, you're carrying, you buff him, you heal him, and that's it. Enemy will not have your extra unit, your 1 only unit. Combo kill, 1 turn kill, you're playing around your combo. Hymn of Valor, that's kinda a combo kill, just a couple of examples of Hymn of Valor. Makes sense, these champions are kinda working here, but probably not the best. Luxie barrier, so you're not giving enemy your units, enemy will just be reviving your his own units. So into Sori's Domination, Luxie is really good. Into Afterimage, well, enemy will be just reviving his own units. Nasus Thresh, you're getting extra stacks, extra stats. Shyvana, extra units to pop with your 3 stars upgrade. Yasuo the same, but he's usually one of the strongest champions, so you make sure you use Yasuo wisely. And Volibear pretty much same. He is really strong, he is one of the best generic Yardians. He is pretty much the best at 3 stars. And he really needs very little. He needs just 1 upgrade Shadow Totem on a 3-cost unit to be as good as he is, to complete any like 6-star adventure. Yeah, and consider the risks. If you're under-geared, if you're under-leveled, Evelyn can give Afterimage enemy husk generator, and enemy will have that unit and also husk generator. Gwen, allowed units, Viaga mists, Mordekaiser kills his own unit over a lot. Kindred, to Afterimage you will give the beast, which is crucial. Jax and Ornn, just try not to give enemy the improvising units, because, well, units are ephemeral, but equipment is pretty real. Dying Laughing and Animated Armor. Dying Laughing. The best in slot would be Strength of Stone, a rare relic. Fresh is really good because, well, you also give Prankster the +1/+3 Savage Shield and Toughness. Janna, well, Formidable is just one of her best special rules. You just need a Luminous Orb and ideally Plunder -2 mana cost. Vi, 3 stars special rule. Synergy with 3 stars. Kain, he heals up. Every unit will heal up. Speed Blossom Ari, you use Spirit Armor. I think it's called, or Strength of Spirit. The +0/+3. Ambessa, well, that works. And you also can copy that unit. It will be 2 of those units, 2 pranksters. Lee Sin, you're given the buff, and like, I hope it's already self-explained. Sometimes, I think this month I used Corrupted Star Fragment on Nora, just to show off that it works too. Like, yeah, I'm not always playing the speedrun, sometimes I'm just playing fun. And I wanna show stuff that, like, works. I just do not make shorts, sadly. Next, Animated Armor. Animated Armor updated. Once again, this is everyone has Formidable, so Spirit Blossom Ari is really good into that. I decided to put her first, since enemy units are formidable too, and you do have damaging spells, so it will lower enemy damage. And pretty much all the same. And Garde. Eka has Wild Inspiration in his 2 stars. Lee Sin, it's just another spell to play, so you have 2 spells every round. Garen, he's kind of balanced around this special rule. Kain, this special rule is really great for Kain. Luxie, that's actually synergy, since when you target your allies with single combat, you will give them Spirit and Impact. Tahm Kench, everyone will be growing if they survive. Ashe, enemy is frostbitten, and if you are using Wolf, that enemy will be dead, no matter the size. Spirit Blossom Kindred, well, she's immortal, so it kinda works. Kayle, you're playing 1 unit, you're buffing that unit, and you're controlling the board this way. Yuumi, you have Fated for +2/+2 every round, and at 4 stars you will also give your units phalanx. Price of Progress. Every spell costs 2 less, and every unit costs 1 more for a player. So you want to be playing spells. Tryndamere, especially with Echoing Spirit, is really good. Like, actually, at 3 stars, Tryndamere is not that great without Echoing Spirit. And also, he is really much better in challenges with Shop. So if there is a 2-fight challenge, then he is much better, since you can try to fish for those Titanic units. Well, playing Tryndamere is kind of a gamble, so that's his playstyle anyway. If you have Tryndamere, you know that. Master Yi, you're one-shotting enemy, Kale, you're playing one unit and you're just buffing that unit. Then you might play another one, you do not even need the Great Technique. Nika, you play Nika, you need Echoing Spirit, and then you just kill enemy in one attack with Fear Cleaving Axe, Echoing Spirit, and Mass Overwhelm. Just Overwhelm of any kind. Luxie, she has a lot of spells. You can have Grand General's counter plan, just make sure to survive the early game. Nami can heal up. Lux, spell dependent, Lee Sin. Yeah, that just works. Ambessa, 2 stars, Illaoi. She actually has a lot of spells, but I usually try to play Illaoi into Bilgewater Discount or Combat Awareness. Jenna, not really a fan, since Jenna is much better into formidable special rules. But, well, this kind of works. Mordekaiser is just a worse Lee Sin at this point. Fiddlesticks, you're staying alive, then Fiddlesticks appears, you have Chemtech Duplicator, and you obliterate enemy deck. Grand General's counterplan, especially on Nora. Echoing Spirit example, yeah, and if you wanna play Champions, you can play Plunder -2 mana cost via Packed Powder or Scorched Stash. Frozen Tomb is really beneficial, and Hymn of Valor on any champion will be really good. Then we have Trick of the Light, Repetition, a lot of spell mana. This usually is pretty easy, so I usually play Twisted Fate whenever I can into 3 spell mana. Lily is really good into Nautical Nutrients, the hardest challenges. Speed Blossom Ari, well, she's just really strong, especially at 3 stars. You are benefiting a lot from 3 stars. She's really not that great at 2 stars. Kale, great choice. I don't even know what to say. Like, if you're having choice paralysis, at least I hope this helps. I actually have different for Embrace the Current. Really, nothing much to discuss. Maybe just Ornn into Embrace the Current is a bit interesting, since you can play Unit, Forge, get 1 mana back, next round you Forge again for free. So this way you have 2 spell mana and 3 normal mana, and you can play Bone Club for 5 mana instantly, round 2. And from that you have Challenger, Regeneration, Strong Unit, like 10-10 on board, and yeah, that's the way. Only the strong. Into this one you will benefit a lot from having level 25 on your champion, so you can input extra relic, the Spell Shield one. And this will be the list. Jack just plays around having Berserker's Buckle. You can play Berserker's Buckle on all 4 top champions. Permanent buffs or Gatebreaker, yep. Elise, else, Corrupted Star Fragment. So yeah, Corrupted Star Fragment is another idea that can work into the special rule very good. And extreme, like, enemy is playing a lot of extra units, just carelessly. And you might play extra units too if you wanna do that. Crash will be just free to play since round 3, I think. And you're just transferring all those special rules or keywords to all your living units. So it's interesting to play Thresh into this one. Next, Forced Workout. I finally made cards for this special rule, Forced Workout. Yeah, usually you wanna play Grand Guard Inheritance Rare Relic or Stalker's Blade. You can also have fun with Creator's Gatebreakers, preferably 2 or 3. You can play Viega as well, he's missing on the list. And Gale Force. Warwick with Gale Force, full build, and Stalker's Blade is usually my go-to for this one. Remove the imperfection. You get high attack unit, and I'm not sure if I have anything for this one. Usually I would recommend having like Ari or Darius for this one. Remove the imperfection. If it is something really hard, then you're playing your wild card. Big Fist. It's just the kind of special rule that you need to think about. Like if Irelia gets Big Fist, if Katarina gets Big Fist, then your Veigar thingy, your Noxus, Hand of Noxus thingy just doesn't work anymore. And there are really no good counters into Big Fist. You can play Tahm Kench to capture enemy units. This way you're ignoring enemy health, but that's not really a strategical win from round 1, round 2. You need Tahm Kench round 3. You need Spell Mana, so you probably want Lost Chapter or Archangel Staff. I personally use Archangel Staff. You probably want Spell Mana from previous round, which is not really what you get all of the time. If you're fighting something like Irelia or Zed, they do have recalls, which makes playing Tahm Kench into this really like tricky. And yeah, that's a bit rough. We have Kindred that has a mark, so enemy just dies. That's kind of a choice. We have Annie with Disintegrate. That's kind of a choice, but overall there are really no good recommendations into this one other than that. Butcher's Block. Do I have anything? No. So I played Victor 3 out of 3 last month, and this month 2 out of 3 I think for Butcher's Block. And my idea is, well, if you're playing Packed Powder on Ally, that's probably a good tell to use the deck into Butcher's Block. So Victor, he is just a generalist, nothing really special about him. Good idea. Samira revolves around Plunder and attacking enemy Nexus, but I use her with Oath of the Guardians, so that's really not my choice right now, but she can work. Lux has Spellburn, and every team Mushroom Enjoyer can have Butcher's Block at round start, but once again, that's not really the way to win the game. So, in TLDR, in my case, this is either like Victor or just nothing. Of course, you can try to use like Warwick, and many other champions that have easy trigger, but that's really not game winning. It's just +1/+1. Chronicle of Ruin. You're playing Star Gem, 1 Guardian Angel, 2 Star Gems, or 2 Guardian Orbs, or any combination, and that works. Any locals champion. Little Bodies, nothing but Powder Monkeys and Nature's Revenge. So a lot of extra stuff on board. I do have a list kinda like this. Real Profit. Extra sigils, extra stacks. Mel has 3 AoE on 2 stars. Warwick has extra enemies to kill to benefit from. Crash. Once again, extra stacks. And especially good into Poras, I think. Elusive Pora, Challenger Pora, Spellshell Pora. You can get a lot of good stuff from 1/1 enemies. Eka Leblanc. You're usually playing 2 Stalker's Blades on this champion, so just having extra enemies that are guaranteed on the board and you will like benefit from hitting them, that's not bad. Vega, to an extent. Kain, extra benefit, especially if you're playing Grand General's Contraplan. And funny, well, this is probably not worth mentioning, but Tempest Blade on Yasuo will be looking more fancy than usual. Jhin, Explosive Finale, and Riptide Battery. Like his level up animation and just level up thingy that kills every enemy is pretty interesting. Swain, of course, he's really strong, but if you have just 2-star Swain, if you're using something like my budget build, the Succubus Brand and Gate Breaker, then it will be good. 3 damage, on every enemy when you're playing Swain and you will have a lot of husks. Then you play enemy and everyone will be stunned. That just works in any adventure. That's how I complete all the 6 stars nightmares. Jack. Yeah, 3 stars, kind of funny interaction. Guy's just extra targets for Cutting Rain, unnecessary, Twisted Fate, extra stuff for red card. Man, I really wish that Twisted Fate had something like Explosive Finale, but yeah, he needs his higher education. I have Twisted Fate at 3 stars myself. I am playing the Spellcaster Twisted Fate. You can look up my videos of me completing the Baron Nashor and other strong stuff on Twisted Fate. I play Frozen Tomb, Packed Powder. I play two Twisted Fates, and once he levels up, man, that's a fun gameplay. Next, we have list of a lot of discounts. It's over here just in case if, like last month, we had 4 Celestial Guidance special rules, which means that you would like to have 2 Targonian champions. This month we can see that nothing is just out of order. For Celestial Guidance, I would say we are not using Yuumi, we are using Yuumi for small stuff. Crafty Portals, same. And Veigar. Veigar should be used into Katarina. Dutiful Service, so Shyvana wants 3 stars and 1 upgrade to the left for shop, and we are using Shyvana into any hard to fight challenge. Salty Dogs. We can use anything, just a matter of fact that Misfortune is pretty much the best Bilgewater champion. Tranquil Minds. Yasuo is the best, so you're not supposed to use Yasuo into discount, that's about it. Valiant Spirits. We are not using Veigar, we are not using Vex, by the way, Vex. She is a get out of jail card as well, if you have the drop upgrade. And Natural Magic in the list. Well, I personally use... I'm having fun with Portal Pulse right now into Natural Magic. My signature Speed Blossom Kindred build, you can look it up. I'm playing Echoing Spirit, Wild Rune, Wild Inspiration Rune, and Portal Pulse. This way I play 4 mana cost Kindred for 1 mana, and then 7 mana cost units for 0 mana, because they have 4 mana discount, 1 mana discount, and 2 mana discount. Right? Yeah, 7 mana discount. Nice. Alright. So what do we do now? Now we discuss every challenge. So how are we going to do this? I have a list of my recommendations. Everything will be in the comment section. It will be challenge number N, then what we're playing against, whom did I use, and what are my other stuff that I wanted to use. I hope that doing the guide this way means that we do not really need time steps, since like everything is just, everyone knows what we are discussing right now, right? Challenge number 1. Well, actually, give me a second, I'll bring some water, like, it will be just a second for you. Told you, it will be just a second. Alright. Challenge number 1, what do we have? Combat Awareness, Ezreal, completed with Azir. Recommend Elise Akshan, yeah, that's just a basic recommendation, and Kain against Ezreal just for fun. Challenge number 2, Snorlax. She's mischieving, she wanna play. She just wants to play. Okay, Karma. 2 mana and everything is 2 mana cheaper. Speed Blossom Kindred, Portal Pulse for fun, yep. Challenge 3, only the strong. So against Fiora and Caitlyn, they have no removals. We're just playing pretty much against Cataclysm and Riposte. Fiora's Riposte is one thing, and against Caitlyn we want toughness and regeneration. And for only the strong we also want regeneration, so this can solve easily. I played Garen, he has regeneration, innate at level 2. Ornn has a lot of stats, like you play Creature, you forge it twice, and that's already bigger than a round 4 Fiora drop. Challenge number 4 is Tranquil Minds. You can complete it with anything easily. Relax. Hold on. This little cat was having too much fun with the microphone box. Trying to scratch it. Like horribly. As a predator, you know. Okay, next. Challenge number 5. Nautical Nuisance and On the Case. 3 mana spell round, spell mana every round, Twisted Fate, Grand Giant's Counterplan Nora, Garen. Shouldn't be an issue. Challenge number 6. Magic number. Elder Dragon, my signature, of course. Они вечен мир с боссом Yasuo. Shouldn't be an issue. Like, we mulligan everything. We are looking for a high cost support champion, and that's about it. That's a 1-fight challenge. Number 7 should be easy. Wailing Spirits. That's it. Basically anything knocks in mind, so into this one, Caitlyn has first attack and +2/+0, which is a bit scary, and that's about it. So that's what you're playing around. I'm gonna make a note about that. Everything will be in comment section. Challenge number 9, Forest Workout. That's yeah, Warwick is great into Tahm Kench, I would say, into Forest Workout especially. Price of Progress and Karma. Just basically gameplay anything into this. We have discussed the Price of Progress. Challenge number 11. Mirror Mage, 10 mana, Ashe and Caitlyn. So, Caitlyn is usually easy, Caitlyn is usually Ashe, Caitlyn. Here we're just playing 10 mana, we don't even need to high roll in a shop. Like, we're just playing around 10 mana. If we can play around Mirror Mage, that's even better. Whoa, 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 what's going on? Windows, do not do that. 12. Mirror Mage, Draven Nautilus. I used any, so we can sacrifice any into Draven and play another any and use Dreadway Chase Gun. Caitlyn is a go-to into this. Well, Morgana is basically alright. She's not on the list because, well, probably we have Nautilus and something can go wrong. So I'm looking more into like mid-game instead of late game, and that's about it. Armour, 10 mana, Zed. We're playing against Zed, we're using Demacia, and we need something against Karma. We can play tempo aggro deck and find some late game options or some draw in a shop, or well, either way, we're playing into Zed. I played Shyvana, she's just strong champion, extremely strong, especially at 3 stars, right? We're discussing 3-4 stars at worst. Luxie, we have Barrier into Zed, Lux. You're staying alive, you're mulliganing for Succession, Garen we have single combat into that, which can like just trade nicely. Ashe without thinking about dutiful service. We just frostbite that. He has no vicious enemies, shouldn't be hard. And yeah, Volibear into that is just a normie. Butcher's block. We're just playing against Lulu. Oath of the Guardians, Fiddlesticks Victor. Yeah, I am probably not a fan of playing into Butcher's block. Just whatever. I would prefer Eking Spirit or Oath of the Guardians. Eking Spirit. Fiddlesticks is alright. Only the Strong and Mana Flow. Or Water Flow and Katarina. So Katarina can strike, level up. The unit that was summoned will still be alive. Next round she plays level 2 Katarina, she attacks. She is like still alive, she is recalled. And Katarina this way just doesn't die. That's what we're playing around. Swain is just generic enemy. Of course we're playing in Veigar into Katarina. I guess that's about it. It's just knowing what we're playing around in the first place. Everyone has evolved. Yeah, I wouldn't say better than I have already written several champions and of course full build and Dream of Yordles as relics. Is Voidborn Carapace? No, that one is bad. Voidborn Carapace will not really work there. Embrace the Current should be extremely easy. This one, Targon Morgana, should be best in slot. I played Morgana myself. Dying Laughing. Well, yeah, this is the one where I used Nora. So Phantom Prankster has +3/+1. Nora has Corrupted Star Fragment, so Nora becomes like 5, 8, 8 and a lot. Of course, Nora's spell is really good into Karma, because, well, that's a 5 mana spell. We get a portal, we summon a unit. But generally speaking, Karma is countered by Chemtech Duplicator. 3 spell mana and Lulu. Ideally it would be Eking Spirit Lilia. Ideally it would be challenge number 70, around that. So it's worth sacrificing Lilia's run into this one, but oh well. Basically anything that has good champion spell into Lulu would be great. So once again, Caitlyn, Lilia, Nora can be alright. You're playing Nora, you have Grunging as counterplane, you play that spell round 2, and this way you go wide, you can sacrifice anything. And Nora is alright into Lulu because you're weary. You have a really wide board, you're going really wide. Oh, she's in the list of recommendations, okay. Number 21. Another Lulu. Grand Plaza Azir. Well, I just ran it down using Dreadway Chase Gun, I guess. Yeah, Warwick, Misfortune, Twisted Fate, they all do look interesting. Rise of Progress into this one. Windamir should be really good into Fiora, since you can Frostbite her. Forced Workout, basically anything. Oh, I almost missed an exclamation mark one. Everyone is formidable. I use Jinx just for fun. Like, I saw enemy using formidable Jinx, and I'm like, you cannot play Jinx like that. I'm gonna show you how to use Jinx. And yeah, so into Red as her lips, you wanna Berserker's Buckle. If you can have regeneration, that will be just best in slot. These two relics. Regeneration is actually a common one. Atrox Vayne. Atrox Vayne have toughness, so their healings have toughness. It will be good into this. Varus. Well, you're just using +0/+2 if you want to, unnecessary. Kain, of course, is much better. Misfortune, Fiddlesticks, Mel, yeah. Fiddlesticks, really good. He is 4-star, he is helping a lot into Jix and Draven. Like, a lot. Vex is good because enemies have a lot of stuff on board, and if you have Explosive Finale and Shop Upgrade, it will be just a pleasure to play against this challenge. Salty Dogs and Vanguard Lookout. Extra enemies and plain Bilgewater. Yeah, pretty much you can use anything. You can use Black Shell because both enemies, like Yasuo has stuns, and Viega might have kill spell. That's about it. Should be an easy one. Empire above all, and Swain is enemy. That's funny. I use Power King, and yeah, just general counters. Mel, Yumi, Gwen. Why not? Just Empire above all recommendations. Next challenge 27, Butcher's Block. Victor. I guess I used Victor into Victor, yeah. Nothing much. We have discussed Victor, we have discussed Raven, we have discussed the special roles. That's easy Darius Swain, I see. Yeah, pretty much anything. Caitlyn Ezreal, I used Ornn, yeah I did. So we have discussed Little Bodies, we have not discussed this one, but... Well, Volibear would be just definitely the best one in here, like you're getting sigils from Porous. You can frostbite enemies for fun. At round 3 you can summon Volibear, at round 3 or 4 you can summon pretty much any Titanic enemy. You can have Avalanche in your starting hand, but that's just unnecessary. I think a lot of units will get through this one. Yeah, and toughness is really good, so Atrox Vayne. Volibear is in recommended list. Power of Observation, Musical Duet. Nasus. This is the one where I used Wicked Harvest, challenge number 30. Berserker's Buckle is a generic recommendation into Jinx. At one point she would just probably stop attacking. It's a funny one. And for Power of Observation I have a list of recommended champions. Kayle, Tryndamere, Nami, Soraka, Mbessa. That all works. Yeah, I think this is more of a easier challenge, so try to use average champion. Empire above all and Undying Rage. This is kind of an interesting one. So if Viega has a mist, it will not die at round end due to it being ephemeral. It will have Undying Rage. Trigger it, Toughness, Overwhelm, Fearsome, and Empire above all stuff will be happening. And Empire above all will also happen Viega to level up. So I would try to play more controller oriented stuff. LeBlanc should be best in slot. Just Stalker's Blade, preferably 2, maybe Spell Shield, maybe just a Stalker's Blade, Spell Shield, and Chameleon's Necklace. Vex is great into Undying Rage. Fiddlesticks, Gloom is great into Undying Rage. Luxie, Empire above all. Jax, yeah, he can one-shot. Atrox, I see a way to win this with Atrox, yep. Tahm Kench, well, Why not? Challenge 32. Shyvana into Draven and Tahm Kench. Master Yi is alright. You're killing enemy on your first attack. Since round 2, heal is good into Vestige of Helia, and Tahm Kench cannot capture us. So we need to play on board through the units, because, well, enemies have permanent spell shield. And enemies have Draven, which, well, has double attack when he's attacking, so it's a bit rough. General knowledge here would be try to sacrifice weak unit into Draven, so he cannot strike it twice and level up. If you have a choice of trading into Draven, but he attacks you twice, your unit twice, he will probably level up, so just do not do that. Just sacrifice a unit and kill someone else. Caitlyn is still alright. Aatrox, Vayne. Race of Progress. Just more of an interesting Nautilus. Against Nautilus I usually wanna play Black Shield, so he cannot Riptide me, he cannot recall my units to my deck. I generally prefer to use midrange, Agra or midrange into Nautilus. I prefer not to play into late game, since, well, if he plays Nautilus, he might have lucky hand, and if you do not have your one-turn kill combo, then he can probably just attack you and kill in 2 rounds, 2 attacking rounds, if he gets Nautilus on board. 34 Minimalist, remove the imperfection. I wanted to play Ekka's Timewinder into Aurelia, and I got what I wanted. We just play into Minimalist special rule. Let me show you my recommendations into Minimalist. This will be it. You wanna either have extra mana from your spells, somehow Sapphire Crystals, or ideally you wanna have Archangel Staff. And I would recommend playing something once again mid-range, something that, like, if you're playing at 2 stars or at 2 starting mana, and you feel like you need just 1 more mana at game start, it will be much better. This is the choice for Minimalist. So it is for me Evelynn, Aatrox, Caitlyn is pretty good, Viktor, Varus, Ekka is really good, and oftentimes Vega, but, well, you know, Vega is really strong. He would be my Shadow recommendation to level. Challenge 35, I just played Nidalee for fun, to see how it goes. She's a okay choice into free spell mana at the game start. But we are playing into 2 Agra decks. One goes white and another has Katarina that should be focused. If you cannot kill enemy in one attack, if you're using Spectral Scissors and Transmogulator, then it can go wrong for Nidalee. I was a bit scared. Like, I had better options, I just wanted to play Nidalee. It's probably, by the way, what cost me rank 3 this time. I mean, I'm fighting the timer, not a position on ladder, so it's fine. Death Hand, Noxians, Veigar. Yeah, like this time you can just... the Arcane Emissions is a substitute for Lost Chapter, so it just looks easier. Combat Awareness one. Yeah, we have Combat Awareness recommendations. This one is Gangplank, which is easy. Viktor, which is a bit interesting. So I use Tryndamere. And I have Against Spirit, and I see that we will have 2-fight challenge, there will be shop. If you wanna play Tryndamere too, you probably want badly the Against Spirit relic. If you do not have that one, you need to high roll at shop. Like, you can actually have the Z-Drive thingy relic 4+2 rerolls, maybe twice. So you can reroll to find Titanic creature. You really cannot afford a low roll because, well, Tryndamere is a weird champion. At restart without a King Spirit, he's kind of A tier at best. We're playing mostly against Victor this time. Against Gangplank we're playing around is Dreadway, which is controllable. Well, technically Gangplank can summon Dreadway round 2, if he gets lucky. He has a Chorus of Power synergy with Gek, but there is no vicious enemy, so I shouldn't be worried about that. I wouldn't be worried. Empire buff all beyond mere flash. Yeah, Mile is definitely best in slots, and just Empire buff all generic recommendations. Sovereign's Domination, Embrace the Current. Yeah, this should be the hardest one of the hardest challenges. So, guys, we have this list on top. These are hardest challenges of this month. These are the challenges that you wanna have your jokers, your wildcards for. 39, this one, Sovereign's Domination, Ezreal, Argon Ezreal. This is Wicked, this is Wild, this is Savage. 40 and 55. So yeah, plan accordingly. This one is rough. I played Veigar just to show that it is possible to play casual 3 stars into one of the hardest challenges. At least that's how we all did in the previous days where we had no constellations. I mean, we have discussed Katarina, we have discussed Ezreal. I wouldn't say much more than I already had. Vex and Shyvana in recommendations because it is a 2-fight challenge, and if you have shop upgrades it will be pretty much easy. Shyvana is in the list. Well, if enemy plays swap bot, you still can play another dragon that will be scaled. You can have a challenger due to Shyvana's spell, and she's pretty much just a really strong champion. Vex, Glooming everything. You can look up how I play Gwen. Completed Baron Nashor, Atakan, Speed Blossom Team Adventure. What else? Didn't complete Zoe just yet. I mean, I didn't really try. I tried it once just yet. 100% win rate. Right here. Challenge 40, small stuff and friended fighting. This one is a trap, since your units will be getting +2/+2, and then they will be shrink to 1/1. And at round end they will have 2 damage taken. Yeah, this one is rough. So definitely this should be like a Jinx one. You can try to play Giga Ari, but you need a setup. You need to play Ari for 2 mana. You need to play any 1-drop with Spirit, and you need to transfer Spirit from someone to Ari so she can survive this 2 damage. You need to have Berserker's Buckle. You probably want something like full build. Choosing by the stars is alright too, but full build is like instant toughness is good into Caitlyn and into friends and fighting. It will give you more stability than choosing by the stars. And from that, you need a regeneration. Yeah, that's how you can win with just a casual 3 stars Ari. Arm to the teeth stuff, yeah, that can work too. And Yumi, well, we just care about our 2 units. We can juggle. We need to play Yumi on 1 Pora. Next round we swap Yumi for someone else, so that unit gets healed. That way, that works too. Only enemy's removal is Lee Sin's Dragon Rage. 41. Go White versus Swain and Draven. Yeah, I wouldn't say better than my recommended list. Little Body's Chronicle of Ruin. This is a free one. Challenge 43. Mirror Mages and Fiora Gathering Storm once again. Not like once again, but I feel like we have seen Gathering Storm Fiora last month, and maybe a month before that. Yeah, I wouldn't say better than my recommended list. Kale into Fiora, great. You can just summon Mirror Mages, I mean buff Mirror Mages, and that's it. Caitlyn, that works. Especially if you have Echoing Spirit, that will be the best. LeBlanc, you're buffing your Mirror Mage. Ambessa, you're copying Mirror Mage, and Anivia, well, you're just waiting. And then you kill enemy in 1 attack. And of course you Frostbite Fiora as a win condition. Well, just in case. Only the strong. Yeah, this is... There is no vicious enemy, but still this is a rough one. Powder Monkey. This is the one where I just was chatting, discussing something with chat, and I was just pressing buttons until someone died. That was an interesting challenge. Like, we both survived until I think 8 mana because of only the strong. And of course we're playing around about which is the worst. Yeah, I have a pretty good recommended list, I think. Gatebreaker Viega, Gatebreaker KL can be a good option. And also having Spell Shield. Like, even just a Black Shield would be really helpful. Like, ideally you wanna have something different than I just went through board into this Ezreal. Repetition, Blade and Darkness. This one is just much easier. Just so much freedom. Noxian Might and Salty Dogs. Yeah, Twisted Fate Golden card into Noxian Might units. And that 1 mana discount will probably makes sure that you can cycle your wild card every time since round 2, even if you're not really experienced with Twisted Fate. At 3 stars, that probably really easily possible. At 2 stars, I don't really know. And of course Misfortune, just the easiest choice. Can play Grand General's Contraplan, can play Archangel Staff and Guardian Angel, Luden's Tempest, Big Guns. Can play any kind of style. 47 Shadows and Adoribus. So this is the one where I changed my Veigar build. I changed it from Tomb and Luden's Tempest, 4+2 damage in total. I changed it to Big Guns because, well, Katarina can get +1/+1, and then you will need 2 Darknesses to kill Katarina. And that's exactly what happened. So I used Big Guns, and my Darkness was 3 damage, and that's how I survived. Otherwise, you can always wait until Katarina attacks, and only then kill Katarina during her attack with 2 Darknesses. This way she has already wasted her attack token, and she still didn't level up. That's a play around. Aggro Lee Sin, well, this is... We have discussed Lee Sin, this is pretty straightforward challenge. Sometimes into Grand Plaza you do not want to summon stuff if enemy is attacking first or second. Like you let enemy attack you first, and only after that you are summoning stuff, so he cannot challenge your units. But this time he has Scout, which makes him attack twice and makes you lose much more health. And this is Lycian, like he has +2/+0 twice, so that's 8 damage in one round. That feels bad. It's an extremely straightforward challenge, but it can be problematic, so it deserves one exclamation mark. What do I have in my recommended list? 48. I'm just playing around combat awareness. Well, I see. Yeah. And controlling the board via Warwick. Yeah, seems good. Gwen can level up. Attack, heal up. Yeah, I would probably choose between Jax, Gwen, Warwick, Ambessa. Ideally you want Spell Shield, so I decided to pick Ambessa. But my Ambessa has 4 stars, so it's no joke, and 3 epic relics. I'm using Packed Powder. I'm also using Found Fortune, which is really good, Ambessa's best in slot relic. And it's absolutely unnecessary to use Beast Within. You probably would much prefer Lost Chapter or Hidden Tome for spell mana. So you can play... So you can attack round 2. If you're not attacking first, trigger the Packed Powder, get Ambessa on board, and play the 2 mana spell, like ideally. That will not happen most likely, but that's a pretty good one. Okay, 49, this should be easy. Yeah, just a discount. I'm usually picking between Hammer and Nora, if I have the choice, for crafty portals. 50, Gathering Storm and Garde. This is really not much of an deal, and this Jinx doesn't have good Guard users. You're just playing like Berserker's Buckle, Wicked Harvest, and this is done. Just make sure not to lose too much health. If you're having 35 at game start, try not to go further than 14, maybe 12. Because she has Get Excited, she attacks, that's a rocket, so that's a 3/3 easily. Mystic Shot, 2 damage, that's 8. And here, like, well, 14 is acceptable if you have a plan to win already. Next, 51. Dying Laughing Draven. The little body's Hemorrhage. That's a wild one. So enemy has extra units every time. Hemorrhage will trigger at round start, right? Round end, sorry. Round start, round end. Phantom Prankster, little bodies die. And Phantom Prankster triggers once again. Thresh is just definitely best in slot for like so many reasons. You have extra keywords from Poros, you have Phantom Prankster with extra stats, like 2 items. You have kill spells into Draven, well, just in case if you need that. You have some extra units in early game, so you can block Draven easily if he has attack round 2. Strength of Stone, Corrupted Star Fragment, yeah. We're playing around Dying Laughing ideally. If not, that would be probably Caitlyn Morgana or Volibear and Nasus. Fiddlesticks is alright at 4 stars, I would say. And of course you can use just Guardian Angel, maybe 2 Guardian Angels on Fiddlesticks. This way you will sacrifice Fiddlesticks, you will summon 2 more, and easy game. That's a Chronicle of Ruin, that's a free one. 53. Yeah, this one should be chosen by the stars Gigari. Definitely. But I was trying to speedrun, so I chose Mel to make it faster. 54 mercy killings. So Tryndamere and mercy killings. It means that the best in slot for mercy killings, the Warwick, will not really work. And this is Tryndamere, which means that the foe most likely will have a couple of champions from Holland Abyss, because, well, Tryndamere, like, he cannot just attack into him at 3 stars and expect to win in 2 rounds. And also he has Entomb, so yeah. Against Holland Abyss I usually recommend something like game wide buffs, like Ambessa, maybe Spear Blossom Aries, the ephemeral units have +1/+1 everywhere, the everywhere buffs. Vex should be best in slot, the one that I used. I see Tryndamere, I pick Vex. Misfortune is really easy, we are just caring about Tryndamere and Holland Abyss. Shyvana seems alright, because we have to fight. Azir can work because we are obliterating, and yeah, we are high rolling in shop. Azir can win almost anything at 2 stars. Speed Blossom Ari, Fiddlesticks. I mean, I completed Azir 2 stars Baron Nashor within like 2 hours. It's really not that hard. You just need to know what you're playing around. Right, he was my champion number 20 to complete Baron Nashor. Well, more like 16, 17, but still. I knew what I needed to do at Elder Dragon and what I'm playing around. Yeah, and we cannot play Jinx into this one because of Tryndamere's toughness. The unending rage. Undying rage. 55. This one is extremely tricky, right? Not like really tricky, but if Draven is attacking second, if you're picking controlling the board champion and you low rolled, you will probably die on his second attack. There is just a high chance. So you need... I would just recommend picking something that is really strong. Jinx, Vex. Maybe Shyvana isn't really enough into this. Like, you need 3 stars and you need shop upgrade for Shyvana. Yasuo, well, Yasuo might be alright. Jinx with Guardian Angel, maybe, and 4 stars. While technically we used to play Guardian Angel, Lost Chapter, and Losers. The lose cannon payload, that one. So that build will probably work at 3 stars. Demising Might. Yeah, we are playing around the elusive 2-mana drop that will just scale and control the board using single combat. There is no vicious enemy. This shouldn't be hard, but like, what if? I think from this point I have pretty solid recommendations. I even typed what we need, what we're playing around, so I might not be explaining a lot. Just let me know if I need to be more of a guide. I used to do like 4 hours guide, guys, but I figured out that we do not need that as much information as I was given, so I decided to shrink everything to as little as needed. Chorus of Power Draven and Big Fist. So this is just this is exactly what we've been talking about in the previous section. Like, Draven's round 2 is his strongest turn. Course of Power means that enemy has strongest round 2, and Big Fist means that enemy has extra health that you need to be planning around and changing your strategy. Well, right here I played Spear Blossom Ari because she's strong, and I'm pretty confident that, like, I can sacrifice stuff, I can just play one spell and block Draven and kill another unit. I would probably play something else, like Vex into 2 mana or to fight challenge. I would easily play in Jinx into this one, obviously. I would prefer stun locking enemy using Tempest Blade. I would easily play Evelynn if I had mana flow, but I'm not getting mana flow and 6 stars on champions. You can play many champions that can trigger Tempest Blade into enemy attack. So we have Nidalee and Taliyah, yeah, in a list. Porkin can sacrifice stuff. Yasuo is definitely a good option for this one. I had another idea that I wanted to say, but I just forgot. Which one did I want to say? Into Big Fist. Man, I already forgot. Well, tragedy. I just forgot. Alright. 58. 10 mana Mountain Peak. Oh, that's an interesting one. That's already end game. And we definitely want to play something that is definitely 3 stars, right? Enemy can just high roll like crazy. Mountain Peak is... This special rule makes certain situations possible. You can low roll, and enemy can high roll. So it's really hard to give just strategic recommendations into this one if enemy just high rolls and he low rolls. Like, it's not a skill issue, that's just you lost. That happens. That just happens, and of course it is Karma. The one that can high roll the most. My recommended list is actually pretty huge into this one. I will not repeat it, it's huge. 59. Adoribus and Crafty Portals. Decided to use Vex. Apparently I had all 3 Swains. I had Aurelian Souls, 3 Aurelian Souls, and I wanted to like complete faster. Right, I'm 4 minutes ahead of rank 5 and I'm 4 minutes behind rank 3. I was just kind of in a hurry. Not really in a hurry, but decided not to kid around and played a really strong champion into this one. What did Gigatima work here? Yes, Gigatima, so you have Elusive as a counter into Fizz. You are playing champion which counters Adoribus, and you can shoot darts into your Timo, and that way you will just grow which counters Tahm Kench. There is no vicious enemy. Enemy doesn't have extra mana, so if you manage to throw just 2 darts into your Timo, enemy Tahm Kench will never hit you. You're just... It's decided. You have won by that point. Big Fist, Adoribus. Interesting soldiers. So we have a lot of soldiers and Phantom Prankster. I mean, we're playing around Phantom Prankster, and there was a huge list of champions into that one. Just pick what you prefer. Azir is a generic enemy, and Adoribus has been discussed too. Big Fist doesn't really help him. Natural Magic, Lee Sin, and Zed. That's a pretty annoying one, in a way that I also kind of wish Withstand was different. We got Galio update in Defiance mode. That's interesting one. That can be another special rule, like Withstand can be a rare power. And everyone is formidable, enemy has +0/+1 can be a new epic one for challenges. So enemy Z can high roll playing Z and playing Dusk and Dawn as soon as possible. Lee Sin will just probably stun our units every time we attack, or at least 2 attacks. That's what we're playing around. I would pick a champion that has Black Shield. That's unnecessary, but probably. In fact, I decided to pick Natural Magic Speed Blossom Kindra, signature one. She kinda floods the board, playing 7 mana creatures for free. Into that we can also pick Volibear and hold our Frostbite in hand. They will be the 3 mana spell will be 1 mana spell. Summon 2 sigils and Frostbite like disable just enemy Z. Sounds good. 62. Unknown Mortal Marks, yep. Probably 2 stars Caitlyn will work. Warwick is a good idea, Mel is alright, Misfortune, obviously. And Misfortune at 2 stars might work too, you just need relics, you need Grangerina's Contraplan, Spell Shield. Maybe you want Toughness to prevent Static Shock from killing you. Yeah, you can have different builds for this one. I think I would prefer Grangerina's Contraplan, Spell Shield, and GGC, GA, and Spell Shield for the best consistency. It's a bit rough without extra damage on Make It Rain, but you do not need that in this challenge. Mass Challenger is alright too. Alright, I forgot that you do not have challenge on your Powder Monkeys without Constellation. I mean, you need Grangerina's Contraplan on 2 stars Misfortune for infinite misfortunes. And you would much rather prefer Guardian Angel and Spell Shield since it's like multiplicative power. 1 Misfortune dies to any Static Shock, because she has 1 health. If you have Spell Shield, then enemy Ezreal need 2 pings to kill Misfortune Spell Shield and then 1 health. If you have Guardian Angel, then Spell Shield, kill Misfortune, she's revived with Spell Shield, another Static Shock into another Static Shock, that's 4 spells. I used Fiddlesticks just to test Fiddlesticks into Ezreal. It's been like half a year since I last played it, this matchup, and I've been recommending Fiddlesticks into Ezreal. Challenge 63. This is just nothing much, just a random soup of special rules and Viega. Against Viega we are playing around Haunted Tombs, Reviving Viega, we are playing around Vengeance, Dawn in Shadow. Just in general, in monthly challenges Viega is easier than in Galio's Adventure because his Dawn in Shadow isn't going to be infinite, and he doesn't have Withstand, so it's just easier than in Galio Adventure. 64. This is not worth the exclamation mark, I have no idea why I have it over here. Probably because, well, Azir can high roll, and we're playing Targon, and Targon champions are usually like low. Probably you can play Soraka into this one, since Soraka actually doesn't mind to be hurt a bit, so she can heal up. Well, you just need to be vigilant about what's going on the board. Challenge 65. Noxus discount, let's rock. Irelia, we have discussed Irelia, and Noxus discount just makes it much easier. Just LeBlanc or any Hand of Noxus. Yeah, that's what I recommend. Rock too hard, little bodies, and we definitely should have used Gigari on stream, but I decided to speedrun this one. Just look up Gigatima, Gigari, that's how you counter this. Sovereign's Domination and 3 spell mana. We are playing around 3 spell mana. Victor might high roll Elusive, might high roll Spell Shield. Again, first attack, lifesteal, deathless. That's what we're playing around. For 3 spell mana and Sovereign's Domination, I like Gale. I like the fact that we can silence enemy, non-attacking enemy. We can play Anivia with Grand General's Counterplan to crossbite all elusive, attacking elusive enemies, especially with Chemtech Duplicator, but well, Anivia kind of requires a couple of high rolls to be relevant. Ambessa has a couple of stuns and she works really good with spell mana. For King works great, so this should be just a pretty easy challenge and you can actually benefit strategically a lot. Next, 68. Murder Breach, and man, it's just a free one. 69, nice. That's a free one too. We're playing around Z that has Removed Imperfection and Vicious Enemy. That's about it. I think I would prefer Mel or Vex with a shop upgrade. Swain, of course, is a free one. One is alright. Shyvana counters this, that. Shyvana is good into Pact Powder Monkeys. So yeah, recommendations are extremely relevant. Like Volibear will have Astro Extra Sigils, so really good recommendations, I guess. I can tell that I wasn't sick when I was doing that list. Nature's Revenge and Afterimage, a lot of enemies, and you have spell mana. Man, this is such a free endgame. Once again, yeah, Volibear Atrox. Shyvana and Vex are not really in the list because I usually use them in a shop challenges. Well, feel free to use them over here. Mel can be used into Nature's Revenge. 3 spell mana will just help it. I think I didn't recommend Volibear that much, and yeah, this is probably the challenge where I would take Volibear myself, if I wasn't in a hurry. This too. And just in case, what's the best Volibear's upgrade? It is 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, and then you go right here. You have another unit, which will summon Sigil of the Storm. And that unit has +1/+1, so it can protect Fearsome, it can protect Brash, it spawns another Sigil, you have 2 units round 2. And that's honestly what I use on Volibear to complete all the harder stuff. The 6.5 Ezreal Adventure, the 6 stars Atakan, in Spirit Blossom Adventure, Baron Nashor. Everything can be completed with just rare relics. So yeah, that was it. If you still have any questions or comments or feedback, please let me know. Next month I promise I'll be much faster with this one. I'll try to work on my wiki. It will take time. I wanted it to be completed like in November. I just started doing it in March and I don't know, it might be completed next week, it might be completed by end of April, maybe by the guide that I will release in April, we will see. I have a lot of ideas for videos and just lacking some time. So yeah, have fun playing, have fun planning and playing. Good luck. And make sure that you plan the hardest challenges first. And ideally, you wanna complete challenges 3, 6, 9 until they're like 60, 63, 66, 69. Nice. And only then, from that moment, you're completing everything else.